Okay, I'm still thinking about these blades. I haven't given up on that. I just took another blade out of the package of the knockoff blades, and I took it from the middle of the pile, and we'll just measure it here carefully. Try not to touch the sharp edge on the metal, because we're going to be using that sharp edge to compare. Okay, so this one is 197, 197, 197.5, 197. We'll call it 197. Now let's just make sure that it's going to go back to 0 here. Yeah, okay. Now we'll measure the X-Acto. Okay, 201, 201, 202, 204. Okay, I think I know what's happening here. The reason it's widening out is because when they stamped the word X-Acto on there, they made it concaved a little bit. So we're not measuring something that's perfectly flat. So we'll call it 202. We'll just go out here on the end here a bit. 201, 202, 200. Well, we're pretty much on the tip now. Yeah, it's narrowing down. Okay. Well, now we're down to 201. Let's make sure it goes to 0. Yeah, it's on 0. Okay, we'll call it 197 and 201. Yeah. Now the reason it's important to know the thickness is so that I can calibrate the amount of pressure on when I grind it down. Otherwise, if you have the equal amount of pressure, but one blade is thinner than the other, it's not going to be fair, because the thinner one at the same pressure will grind down slightly faster or more than the thicker one. So, yeah, got to be fair here. Now, just in case somebody was thinking, they're probably the same blade, only with a different stamp on them, but you can clearly see they're not the same blade. Yeah, and probably the X-Acto will turn out to be better. I mean, well, it better be. It's like, how many times more expensive? Now I know it sounds like here goes Ron on another rant, but I'm all for giving local businesses the business. I just went on the hobby store's website here in Winnipeg just now, and a little package of 15 blades similar to the ones that I've got. It's $15.46 plus taxes. And so it works out to well over $1 a blade, versus 6.33 cents a blade. What's a person supposed to do? Plus, I have to go out to get it. What with this COVID thing going on, I'm going out as little as possible. Today is Thanksgiving Day here in Canada. I had been invited out to my daughter's for Thanksgiving dinner. I had to turn it down. Well, I didn't have to turn it down, but I think it's my duty as a good citizen to turn it down. We got to do our best to try and get this thing under control. If everybody thinks it's not going to happen to me and ignores all the precautions, well, I don't know. It could just wipe out humanity. Now, one of the viewers is also building the hood, and he is building a different manufacturer's. It's a very deluxe kit. He sent me a message today, and he said that the life rafts, some of them are stacked one on top of the other. If you remember when we did the Bismarck, I think there was quite a few of them that were stacked one on top of the other. And I'm just going ahead here in the manual to see, is there anywhere where there's one stacked on top of the other? Okay, here we got in step 32. It doesn't show them one on top of the other. Oh, wait a minute. Here we have it. Okay, there's two, one on top of the other. Here's two, one on top. Okay, yes. In step 32, it does show where. Oh yeah, it does show that one goes on top of the other. So they are sort of at least two of them are together. Okay. So what I'm thinking I can do is hopefully the one on the bottom will be worse than the one on the top as far as my painting goes. A lot of them, they get stuck on the sides. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. I was wondering about that, but I never thought to, peruse ahead in the manual and see. My goodness, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. Oh well, it's all fun, It kind of sounds kind of funny, but at the point where I shouldn't say I don't care if I don't get it done. I'm just enjoying the build. Now, and what makes me think that is right now the Bismarck is over there in its case. And there was a guy and looking at it yesterday, and I think he was a little bit impressed. But I don't know. I don't look at it. It was the build I remember, not the ship. And I guess that's what these kits are all about. They're not just kids' toys. Anyway, what I want to do right now is I want to see if I can't position these. I'm going to reposition the camera later. In fact, I'm going to do it right now so I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, what I want to do is position these sharp edges together on the slide like this, and then with the microscope see if we can see both edges at the same time. Now this is only going to work if these two edges are exactly the same height when they come together. If there's any difference at all, one edge will be in focus and the other won't, in which case I'll have to do them separately and then superimpose them in the computer. But it does appear to me like both of these edges are at approximately the same height. Now they should be if one bevel is ground the same amount as the other. Then the edge should be in the dead center of this part. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Okay, this is actually the first time that I'm doing this. Well, I was looking at that stain from the blue tack earlier, and I couldn't come to any anything conclusive as to whether it was oil or bits and pieces of the blue tack itself we were looking at. I think it was actually blue tack itself, not oil. This is the first time I'm doing this, so it's not like I already know how it's going to come out. Okay, we'll try and get those edges together. Alright, this is going to take me a minute to set up because I have to put this adapter in here and hook the camera onto it, and that way you're going to get to see it too, I hope. No promises. Okay, as I was mentioning, I'm going to try and get it so that the cutting edges are butted up against each other, and that the tips of each blade meet at the same place. So that's going to take a little bit of finagling here, but we'll eventually get it. Then the idea will be that I'll be able to move the stage back and forth, and we will be able to travel along the edge of the blade out to the tip, and we should be able to see if there's more imperfections on the one than the other. And I'm going to try and have it so that the X-Acto blade will be the one in the top view. Okay, this is the X-Acto blade and the cheap knockoff. I'm not going to do a whole lot of giving of my opinion here. I'm going to let you sort of see it for yourself. We're switching to a higher magnification here. We'll be looking at it about 2.5 times closer than we were before. It's more difficult to keep it in focus at the greater magnification. I think the thing to do is look at the very edge, like the sharp edge, not the grinded bevel, but look at the edge, and try and see if the one looks a little bit more unfinished or rougher than the other. It was impossible to get both edges perfectly focused at the same time. It was either one or the other. Well, we've looked at them pretty close here. And I would have to say, yeah, the grind is maybe slightly different shape, but the quality of the grind, like I didn't notice any difference in coarseness of whatever they used to grind the bevel. It looked equal to me. You notice I tried to toggle back and forth between the edges and the greater magnification, and when you look at the edges, it's not like one was kind of bumpy and the other wasn't. The only difference now that will make a big factor is the quality of the steel. As I mentioned, I think a video or two ago back, that yes, it's possible that the one can be as sharp as the other, but one of them may cut a lot longer or stay sharp a lot longer if it's a better quality steel. But that's not going to be in today's episode. I've still got to rig up the apparatus using the grinder and stuff like that, and believe it or not, I've probably spent about a good 2 hours here fooling around with this, trying to get it set up and trying to video this. It was fun. I enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Okay, here's my thinking right now. The general consensus, you might say, is in. And most people felt that probably, now I say probably, if I spray at an angle like this, that the spray will not curl up and under and get on the deck underneath. Now, what Tony was suggesting is, he says, why don't you take a part from that excuse me, that mule that I sent you a year ago. Now, I'm just ad-libbing here. I'm just paraphrasing. I can't remember exactly what he said. But then, anyway, he wanted me to practice on a piece out of that. Now, I didn't have the heart to tell him that most of that is gone now and used up. Yeah, I should have kept it and just painted over a lot of it. Like the hull, for instance, would have been something Well, the hull is gone. Anyway, we won't get into that. Sorry, Tony. I really did get a lot of use out of that thing. I should have treated it with much more respect. Anyway, I was thinking, well, what can I use? And then I realized, well, we got these pieces right here. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be wanting to paint the sides. What color was it again? No, I can't find it. Okay. I was looking at the 77 and I thought that doesn't look right. Okay, it was the number 22. So we got to paint the sides here with the number 22. And all right, here, why don't we practice on this? We're going to have to paint it anyway. What we'll do is we'll paint it upside down. Spray at an angle. See, I'll hold this so that you can see the right angle for the camera. I'd be spraying like this. This is upside down. In other words, will the spray curl around and get underneath? Well, it'd be real easy to tell after we're all through painting this. We'll just check and see. Did we seem to get anything on the deck here? I'm going to make a guess that we're not. However, what I'm going to be doing is spraying all of these walls anyway. This color, the 22. So, it's going to get on the deck anyway. It won't really matter, in other words. But it will make a really good test. Same thing with this part right here. We can do the same thing. Spray all around here and along the edge here, and then check and see, do we have any paint on the deck part. Okay, but there is one thing that is bothering me a little bit here about this. This was just my first idea. And that is that when I am spraying down like this, the spray is going to stop here and sort of mill around and could possibly get up onto the deck underneath, because this is sort of blocking it. In other words, the spray can't be sort of deflected by the bottom of the spray booth and then continue on. So I am going to change this. I'm going to get rid of this piece of 2x4, and I've got all kinds of junk lumber down in my workshop. I don't want to go down the stairs to do it. But I'm going to maybe something like a piece of a broom handle, a wooden broom handle, coming up as a pedestal, and make it a little higher too. So it'd be about this high. I think there'd be a lot less chance then of the spray hitting this and then bouncing, milling around in there instead of just passing right through and out the back. I don't know. I've never done anything exactly like this before with spray, so I don't know. I really think that it is going to work, and I think that most of the viewers thought it would work too. One viewer was pretty convinced that it was going to hit the edge here and eddy around underneath, and I can see his thinking. But my question is, did you actually try it? Well, we're going to actually try it on these, but not today. Spent a lot of time this morning fooling around with the microscope. I enjoyed it. I don't mind that I took all the extra time to do that. I enjoy doing that sort of thing. I can't, well, I shouldn't say I can't, but I have to sort of break the model up once in a while with silly things like microscopes and rabbits. And anyway, thanks for watching, folks, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.